Welcome to the Women Leaders Association Daily Member Podcast, where we believe we go further, faster, and have more fun when we go together. I'm your host, Julianne Kirkland. And in each Daily Member Podcast, we will pick out a great speaker from one of our meetings that we thought you would enjoy. You can access hundreds of recent speakers, book summaries, great articles, and more at no additional charge through your membership portal. If you would like to get involved in a Women Leaders Association mastermind group or find a networking group near you, or if you just need access to the membership portal, simply go to womenleaderspodcast.com to be connected. Now let's tune in for this incredible message.
So our next speaker, Sasha Yablonovsky.
Nailed it.
Oh, yes, baby. Is an immigrant mother, a wife, and a businesswoman. She's motivated by helping companies grow, creating opportunities, and improving the culture of employees. Sasha's accomplishments include building, I love this is my favorite thing I've ever read in a bio. Sasha's accomplishments include building out a strategic plan and process for the largest Ponzi scheme in serving as the voice for, I asked her, she'd tell me, she said, I'd tell you, but I'd have to kill you. So we just left it at that. Serving as the voice for others and professional women as a public speaker and growing her career from project manager to CEO in just under a decade. Outside of work, Sasha likes to travel with her husband and two sons, eat out, read fiction, watch Lifetime, and spoil her boxer dog, Gia. That's right. Don't tell Gia that I got it wrong. Welcome, Sasha, to the stage today.
So I was ready. I'll start a little before. I am very transparent in leadership in my life, especially with women, because I think that there isn't enough of that. So I talk openly about salaries, age, process, and also path. I don't think any of it should be hidden because otherwise you can't help each other rise to succeed. And when sharing things with you, there might along the way be considered oversharing, but surely I just think we need to be that transparent. So I'm 44 years old. I was born back then in the USSR. My father was a colonel in the Red Army. I was always raised not as a woman or a man. I was just raised and pushed to do what you have to do to survive. So I have to tell you that really made a lot of the groundwork for my leadership style and how far I was able to push myself and others around me. So that's one thing. The other thing is, over the last 20 years, I have faced, my whole life I've faced a lot of resistance. And quite frankly, all of you have, and I'll point that out in a minute. You can apply that working with your teams, or if you're not a leader of people yet, how you will be applying that when you become a leader of your people, if that's what you want. By the way, I fully believe that you can be a autonomous worker and not have to manage people. I just think it's important to know, especially over the last 20 years. I went from managing no one to managing a team of 10 people to managing a division of 1,400 people, and then to running a global company of 3,000. So what happened is I never said no. A lot of what Mary Beth actually said is like so true. You can't wait. You have to take risks. The worst that's going to happen is you screw up, you learn, and then you move it. Like you do in your day-to-day life, by the way, every single day. So let's start back to this resistance piece. Does anybody have toddlers? Play with toddlers and nieces or nephews. Any exposure to teenagers? There you have it. Anybody that has cats or multiple? Guys deal with resistance every day, especially the cats. The resistance is really working with people and thinking about how to overcome the no's that you're going to get. Mary Beth had a great example, actually. She said she was dropped into her current role where the first thing she was assigned to do was what? Create a major change. Change is hard. People don't like change, okay? And as a leader, you will be asked to do the shitty, terrible things that you want to hide from, but you don't have a choice. Like, that's your job, that's your role, and that's where they're inspired. So, over the years, the way I've come to the changes that I had to go through and instill, and I'll share some of those with you, is I created a little bit of a formula that has helped me along the way. It's very simple. It's us, the senior project team, or the project team. So they're a senior leadership team to me. engagement as a leader and how you get to that execution. So some of the things that I've had to change. I was hired by Apollo Private Equity for the last 10 years to streamline and improve companies that they would purchase. That means I come in to a large organization that's overspending, that has outdated processes. No one knows me there. I look kind of young. I might look like I don't know what I'm doing, A, because I'm a woman, and B, because, like it's just usually the assumption, let's be honest. And I have to change everything, rip it out with like a short amount of time and a very thin budget. And everybody around you is like, I hate her. She's here. Corporate brought this woman in, and she doesn't know us. She never performed. What could she possibly tell us how to do and what to do it? I hate her immediately. No matter what she tells me, the answer is no. That's who's been in that situation before. Okay, so I've done that for a company, a global company, about 10 years ago with great success. We tripled our revenue within 4 years. Yes, I had some people leave, and yes, there was some turnover because people have resisted, and I'll tell you how to work. But overall, 40. Most recently, I was the president of Career Builder. I was there for 4 years. Apollo bought the company, brought me in to make sure that the company doesn't do. A lot of things needed to be changed. My background was not HR, income into Career Builder, managing this massive global well-known company. First thing people said was, "Here, who is she? She's not from HR. We don't like her." So, instead of getting used to the company, your leaders, board directors, your CEO, your team, so you have to get to know, you also have to implement equation. Okay, so let's talk about this equation. More common. Big picture. It's so important to establish the big picture. If I'm writing things down, I will email this to you if you reach out to me. So, okay, big picture. Why is this important? Before anything changes, you will want to know, why the heck are we doing the same things? Why is this change needed, right? Is it because corporate said so? Is it because of decision of the board of directors meeting? Most likely, yes, depending on the size of your organization. If you have a small organization, maybe 10 to 20 people, things trickle around a lot. You can hear about it first. So big picture, why are we really here? Why is this change needed? Are we trying to improve our renewal rates? Are we trying to better customer service? Organization, because we need to improve our revenues. Understand what that is. Why does this matter? Okay, why does it matter? Why are we trying to improve our processes? Why are we trying to implement additional trainings? Because we're automating some things and they can actually free up their brain to be more strategic with our customers. Are we just because we need to implement an additional revenue stream for our organization? Why does this matter? And what is needed to succeed? Do we need to implement more? How do we need to bring in? Is it the fact that the way our divisions, the departments, are structured is no longer working for the working world today? Right? What is it that we're trying to do? And then rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat is a big one. Don't repeat things over and over again to yourself or to others. You will be forgotten. It's that pathway you talked about earlier today. You have to remember. You know why you have to repeat? If I ask any of you what you accomplished at work 2 weeks ago, none of you will remember unless you write it down, which you should. It will also help you with those meetings Mary Beth talked about when you talk about the things in the accomplish. First, you have to understand why you're making the change you're making. Okay? Next, you have to select and develop the team that's going to drive this forward. You might know what's needed for your department or your company. You should not be the person that's executing it because you never get buy-in. And let me tell you what that means. You have to select your project team. I love naming my team's senior title. Be part of my senior leadership team. It's important. It gives it weight. People want to be on a senior leadership team. They're leaders in training. It gives them that kind of push. Now, identify, there's 2 ones, 3 ones, 4 ones. All right, identify internal influences. Here's a very important step. When you need people to rally around you, you need to identify the people to rally. So take a stake of your organization or your team. Who is the most influential? Who do people hang out with, talk to? Like, if you have your intranet of like social media, who's got the most followers? You know what I mean? Okay. Identify those people, meet with them one-on-one. So I will come and I will say, hey, Sasha, we're working on this project. Here's why it's important. I'm going to paint the big picture and explain it one-on-one. And then I'm going to say, here's why I would love for you to be a part of this team and make it about that person. We need their buy-in. Get a few of these very influential people. You need them to rally behind you. Then you're going to meet with all of your influencers together in one group. This is my team. You guys are in. We're going to make this happen. Here's why you're all here. You have to repeat to all of them publicly why they're all there. Okay? Diversify among departments. Okay. Even if the change is taking place in your product team, you have to bring in other stakeholders to be part of this team. Do you know why? Anyone? I'll help you. Product functionality is key. It breaks down silos. Like, how many of you in your organization feel like no team works with another team? They don't know what they're doing, and everybody's in a bubble, right? It's really breaking down barriers and silos. It gets people to really work together and understand it. Also, you said this, Mary Beth, earlier as well. Just because you're a product person doesn't mean you don't have a view on renewals or your success team or a sales process, right? Everybody has like a different view. It's really important to bring everybody together. Allow creative freedom. So as a leader, you can't solution this for these stakeholders. You have to allow them with your guidance. You have to allow them to solution it. It's the people doing the work. It's the people that are working with your customers that truly understand what and how it needs to be done. You have to give them the resources to do so, but you have to give them the freedom to create the solution once you present the big picture of the problem. You have to identify resistors. So this is the fun part, after the fun part of selecting your influencers. There's always people that are naysayers that don't want change. I'll be honest with you, change either. Not in my personal life, not in my professional life. I do. I'm a little bit of a swear. Just so why do things like it? But then I shut up and I go with it, right? So that's life. So identify your resistors. They're the people that are, next to the water cooler. I don't know where they're going forever. Okay? And then you have the people that are controlling their eyes and talking at all. Those are more dangerous, by the way, because you'd rather people talking. Okay, you have to identify them. You cannot fear your resistors. They smell fear. As a leader, you have to have one-on-one with your resistors. In like if you have a 10,000 person company, you're not going to meet with like 5,000 people, but the key ones you have to select that might like overturn your entire project. You have to sit down with them one-on-one like you did with the influencers. And do not really allow them to vent. Like this is where a lot of leaders go wrong. Intuition is, tell me why you don't want this to happen. Because then you try to talk them out of it. No, resistance is futile. Is how you have to think about it. You have to bring in a person, and then you have to relate and say things like, I understand this is hard. Learning new things is difficult. Right? If this person, by the way, doesn't into your group, but you're in charge of this change, before this meeting, you go to this person's leader and manager and you say, tell me about so-and-so, so you know when you talk to the resistor, like how to connect with this person, okay? Okay, here's why we're doing this. You're gonna repeat. Here's why we cannot avoid doing this. Again, going back to the big picture, okay? Do not say things like, do you understand? Do you agree? Say things like, I really need you on board. Your team and your colleagues really could use your support on this. And I know it seems like it's hard and impossible now. It may not make sense today, but down the line, you will see that this will really benefit the team, the department, the company. Okay? All right. And then we're going to do what?
Rinse and repeat.
Thank you. Why are we going to rinse and repeat? Because if you don't touch points with the people you've selected and you don't share the big picture over and over again, it will be completely forgotten. In the day-to-day minutiae of our lives, you forget, like, why am I doing this thing? This project that fits into this bigger mold, and why are we here today? You have to rinse and repeat. Your engagement also plays a huge pivotal role here. Are you bought in? Interesting question. In reality, no one cares. You know what I want to know why? Because you're a leader. You're paid to show up to do what your company pays you to do. Now, if it goes against your morals and better judgment, of course you should never do it. One of the hardest things about being a leader is you kind of have to go, okay, with the company. Now, are you bought in? If you're not bought in, you're going to fake it. You're going to fake it. Mary Beth brought that up on her speech too. Sometimes you got to fake it, especially as a leader. You end up faking it a lot. Half the team you work with or that reports to you, you may not like. Heck, you might not like anybody that reports to you when you first start there, okay? Until you bring in a different team, or if this is the team you have to fake it and be the best leader you can be. So are you bought in? If you're not, and you're really not bought in, go to your leader if you can and try to work that out. Step away from the project, not ideal, but step away from the project if you really feel like you can't get behind it. It's okay. Now, how personalized tasks. You've created this sports task. You're building a cult, a following. They're going to get this done for you. They're going to get this done for the company, okay? But you have to help them with tasks. So, like, Jackie is excellent at coming up with a process. And Susie is really good at seeing that process, right? So you have to kind of assign the roles. You have to own the follow-up. These people, they're going to be rallying to execute this change, to get behind and push it. You should be scheduling the weekly touch points or 3 times a week, or depending how big the project is or how quickly it's moving. But you have to own that follow-up. Invite executive leaders to touch points and update meetings. Here's what I'll tell you about that. Again, it does 2 things. First of all, everybody that's rallying, the entire team that's doing this, they need that exposure to executive leadership. In larger companies, they never get it. They never get to practice this whole, I'm going to speak up in a meeting. I'm going to present in front of a director, a VP, or a CEO. You have to pay it that way. You will be their hero, but not only that, you're training someone. Leadership, actively leadership training them while they're working on this project with them, while they're making this change. Also, it makes you look like a secure, confident leader. You're training people, you're giving them a way to rise, and you're allowing yourself to be seen as a powerful leader that is doing that. But all while, what is this doing? Creating this following where anybody that is swept inside by this wave, this momentum you're going. Okay? Make grand gestures. What does that mean? Okay. If you're all working in the office and it's in the budget, stay late with them, buy them dinner. You can't dedicate and check out, see you later, bye. I'll walk my dog. You can't do that, okay? If you're not in an office together, or if you don't have the budget to buy everybody dinner that's working on this project, that's okay. Coffee, okay? You can buy people coffee. Did a career builder. When we all went remote a couple of years ago to ensure we have this work on big projects, I created a Zoom room, just a link to Zoom. And all of us dialed in, but none of us talked to each other. We did our work independently, but the Zoom meeting was on. And when someone randomly had a question or wanted to be oh, hi, you guys still there? Everybody was there. Silly. But in the remote work, it works really well because you don't feel alone and you're oh, we're all working on this. You have to do these kind of gestures. And then you're gonna random. You have to go back to why are we here, big picture, what does this mean, and why is this important? Okay, execution part. Break this. We're right on it. All right, execution. You have to allow, so make an event out of it. Here, they've worked so hard on the execution of how this will be done. Make an event out of it if you can. Bring in lunch. Bring in senior executives, okay, so that they're presented to. Make it a thing. Bring in every resistor in the company you can. Let them sit and watch this beautiful thing unfold. Bring in people. Again, goes back to what? Features you as a strong leader, but also give these folks a really great platform to present. Ensure that they're showcased as the owners. The more your employees and your colleagues see the buy-in and this passion for this change, their peers, the easier it is to overcome any other hiccups that come. Because to have the senior leader or the executive team present to like a room full of folks that are not sure if they're bought in. Because that feels like we're shoving them down your throat whether you like it or not. Make no mistake, let's be honest. This is being shoved down everybody's throat anyways. But the way it's being done, and no one really realizes it anymore. And it becomes easier to overcome. Brag about the Zion team. Brag in business. We didn't coordinate our presentation. And in business is key. You need to get used to it. Yes, brag about it yourself all the time. No, also. You have to brag about this team. By bragging about this team, hey, did you see my team? They're amazing. I built them, and they're doing this for all of us. And I know what they're doing because they're in it today. They're incredible. You're really bragging not only about the team, but also about yourself and your leadership style, which makes people want to follow. Right? Next time there's a project, that's a good way to overcome resistance. People seeing you and liking you. But also bragging about the Zion team, do you know what it does? People want to be a part of it. They want to be spoken about. They want to be bragged about and talked about. I know these are really simple concepts for every time. Give the team a cool name. I'm really into naming stuff. I have to tell you, I watch a lot of Lifetime movies and video games. It's brilliant. They show a lot of movies about cults. Do you know, in leadership, you can take a lot away from how cults is built. You laugh, but it's true. The basics are all there. You have a cool cult name, team name, call it. Have a cool team name, and you have people that you are getting to buy into your idea, right? So give it a cool name. It's like gamifies it, you know? All right. Reward with a token of appreciation as part of the execution, or at the end of the execution. I'll tell you why. Whatever it is, a book, a mug, whatever you can do, it has to be a little check sheet. I don't love cover cards. You know why? Because you go get your coffee and you forget about it the same day. Give them something else at the office or in their home office. Like even if it's a reminder that you were part of something bigger and you belong to something meaningful, that, okay? Provide feedback always and ongoing. Provide feedback. And you have to stay close throughout the execution, the whole. If hiccups arise, and they will, like you guys have probably gone to a few of these meetings and you know from personal experience, like success is never a straight line like this, right? It's kind of like that with resisting change or any sort of people that are like trying to sway you away from what you want to accomplish. Close to it and stay close to it. Praise the team, encourage the solution. Guess who owns the mistake? The leader. Guess who gets the credit? The team. If you profoundly leader, give everybody a favor. Okay? Because here's the not so much fun of leadership. These projects, they fail sometimes. It's nobody's fault. They just don't go right. It's not the team. It's always you. Rinse and repeat. Why? Because if you're executing, what do you have to do? Keep your eye on the big picture. Why are we here? This is why we're doing it. Why were we selected? Here's why. What is my influence on this? Here's why I believe in all of you. Why we're executing. Now, going back to it again. Big picture, the equation. Very simple, but works every time. You have your project team, you have your personal engagement, and then you go and you execute. Next 2 minutes? Sweet. Okay, that was it. Really good question. So I left Career Builder last year, and I can relate because now I built my own company, but it actually brought us closer together. Another TED Talk altogether. My team is 13 people in my company. So when you run if you have a company or an organization or a division that's going through this and it's in your hands, and let's say you have 10 to 15 people, I would get 2 to 4 max to participate. You won't taking one person off the floor, even for a few hours a day, is like, it's critical, right? It really delays everything. So I would do 2 to 4 people. I would never do one just because, again, not enough of a voice, but that's what I would do. In a larger scale project or team or organization, for an example, if you have a company of 3,000 or even a division of 3,000 people, I would try to do no more than 20 people on this project. It's like a controlled environment. And one of the things that actually this reminded me, I forgot to mention is when I do these like initiatives in organization, I like to run what I call a sprint. Google Ventures created this concept of doing a sprint a long time ago. And what it is it literally breaks down for you in sprints how to release a brand new product in like 5 days. Like that's what the book is about. But you apply it to everything because product doesn't have to be like, SaaS, tangible, something. Product could be, we need to, improve our renewal rates, to strengthen our success team or something like that. Buy that book. You don't need to read it cover to cover. It's broken down in a way that actually tells you how to manage these kind of projects and set them up on big scale or small. So I run students. I didn't say this is really quick. I'm sure we're out of time. Now I'm actually cutting into your breaks. This is all your fault. But this is what I would email. And I'm sure you're going to speak to this too because that was really your topic. But this is how I do things day to day. Okay. Day to day, I write down the things I work on that actually mean something. I don't mean like I responded to 50,000 emails to my inboxes about just pop. I mean, I coached a person. I had a one-on-one with them, right? Or I approached a head of engineering and I asked questions so that I gained understanding about this other thing. Going with us, or I met with an HR leader and I wanted to understand our hiring processes to see how I can get better hires for my team. And what that does is work on improving quality, right? Quality of hires. I write that down every single day because I won't remember tomorrow. At the end of the week, I put together an email for my team and I have my team do the same back to me. Very short. We call it rocks, misses, and hits. Rocks are things we have to overcome. Misses are things I didn't get to or I messed up. It's okay to have your team know that as a leader, you occasionally mess up. Make sure you miss, like many, maybe 1 or 2. But it's important that they know that you're also working hard, trying to produce them. What are the wins? The wins are I learned more about the hiring process, or I understood engineering. Then what I do is I've always been the type of person that has proactively scheduled time with leaders that I report to, or even those that don't report. Also proactively, also always ask for increases, raises, both. It goes back to overcoming challenges, being the only female working in IT in the 90s. I'm in a room full of men all the time, men just naturally, not bad people, but naturally more aggressive and they're fast shit for themselves. They just, I want it, and I'm going to get it. Think about it. Like, we wouldn't survive as a species if guys weren't aggressive. I mean, they're biologically programmed to be the person that was probably born. So that, I mean, every week I do that. And then, some do it quarterly, I do it monthly. I push for a really big review every month with the leadership team. Whether, like, I reported to the CEO and I take her to, and here's how I influence my team to do it. You should know. Sometimes I do that for 3 days, and then I go with one ask. Then I can go in and I can say, here's what my salary should be. Here's the benefits I brought to this organization.
Awesome, thank you. So, I have a suggestion for you two, because I'm a coach and an author. You can take both of your thoughts. I get the transcript of it, give it to a good editor and copywriter, and you guys would have a book in 3 months. Yeah, it'll be an author, right? There was so much value in both of those talks, and their talks complemented one another so well that if you just took those concepts, about fearless leadership and navigating change, and you put that together, that would be a kick-ass book, and you guys would be published authors. All right, you guys are on break. So listen, we are all a room full of leaders, right?
Hey, my friend, if you enjoyed listening to this podcast, be sure to rate, review, and share your biggest takeaway. And if you're wanting more, you can access hundreds of recent speakers, book summaries, great articles, and more at no additional charge through your membership portal. You can also get involved in a Women Leaders Association mastermind group or networking group near you. Or if you just need to access your membership portal, simply go to womenleaderspodcast.com to be connected. Because here at Women Leaders Association, we believe we go further, faster, and have more fun when we go together. That's all for today, my friends. Bye for now.